Alright, so with that, why don't we get this baby underway, huh?
What? Okay.
Alright. Yeah, we're...
Stuffing things.
Oh my god, right on time, of
Oh,
course.
somebody's dog is getting fired up.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
Hey, come on. Quiet. Let's go. Get in here. Come on, Miles. No.
Oh, I knew it.
It's Miles. Oh, there's neighbors outside. Bark! Bark, bark, bark! Alright.
What a turd.
Nah, no.
Don't worry, my dog will start soon enough.
Okay, so, with that, how about we say this is episode, you know, what's the date today? 28th? 29th? This is 28th.
It's episode 29th.
It's episode April 29th, 2017. Because I don't even know, I lost count. This is our third episode since we went back, but I forget how many we had before we took our extra long hiatus, so, yeah.
Super close to 200.
Yeah, pretty close. But anyway, yeah, we're back. It's me, Andrew, aka Uno El Nino, along with my lifetime partner and
Hetero life mate is the preferred nomenclature.
No. Let's not kid ourselves. Let's admit what we've got going here. No.
Hetero life mate.
Of course, it's Nick Bean.
Hello.
There you go.
That's all I got.
Way to keep that momentum
that's
going.
my intro for the week.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going strong.
So it's been about 3 weeks since we did our last episode. I know we wanted to do this every 2 weeks, so in that on
there's
that
my
note,
dog.
There you go. Yeah.
There's my dog. Xena, you turd. Oh, the intro screen for Mario Kart 8 Deluxe looks nice.
Yeah, that came out today on Switch, and you're firing it up for the first time. It sounds like, huh?
I am, very first time.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, the menus are beautiful.
Yeah?
Like, really, Xena, calm yourself. Really,
Oh, I didn't even hear her that time. You had it on the Wii U, didn't you?
I did.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just playing it in my lap, though, because I'm downstairs away from my dock.
Sure.
And it looks really nice. Very sharp, very pretty.
Yeah?
I can't even tell it's only 720p.
Is it on the
I'm
handheld?
excited
Yeah,
to
I guess
play
it is on the handheld, huh?
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear that barking. Don't worry about it. Stuff's gonna happen. Dude, you know how many podcasts I listen to where people have, like, crying or screaming kids in the background or whatever, or they think it's really cute to have the kid come up and get on the mic and babble for a minute? It's like, barking dogs.
Last time I listened to that podcast, I got my own kids I have to listen to. I don't want to listen to other people's dum-dums. Anyway, Xena! Dude. See, my problem isn't for the podcast. My problem is I don't like my dog barking.
Oh, sure.
At nothing. I mean, you know.
Same thing with me and my dogs. It's trying to get them not to bark at the neighbors every time they walk by the window.
Now she's pouting at me. Oh,
so, I'm sorry, you did say you had it on the Wii U, right? The Mario Kart?
I did.
Yeah, so did I, and I thought it looked great
indeed.
on that system.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 42 characters it looks like. Choose from.
Really? 42? Man.
1, 2.
It
yeah,
seems
7 times 6 is 42, right?
Yeah, it seems like a lot.
Our
but then I guess
ferocious ass barks.
I know, right? I'm just gonna close these blinds so you guys shut the hell up and stop barking. Anyway, it doesn't seem like that much of a huge cast when you consider that there's like all those stupid Koopa kids and baby characters in there.
Sure.
Like, but I know
I'm trying to just get the number of everything, you know?
Right.
I want to figure out how many characters, how many maps or whatever. So that's 10, so 40 maps?
Yeah, there's no new maps for racing.
48 maps.
All of the battle stuff should be new, and then the characters, I think it's 4 new characters. I think you've got like Dry Bones, Animal Crossing Villager, I want to say, maybe. And then the 2 squid kids from...
Yeah, Villager. And Isabel, the annoying little dog.
Yeah, okay.
And yes,
then the
Squid
squids.
Kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From what? Splatoon. There we go. Couldn't think of it for a minute.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't have that one yet. But that's, you know, I feel like if you have a Switch, like, you know, that should be one that you'll. It's a no-brainer. It's kind of a must-have if you have a Switch. I think,
sure.
Unless you've already got it on the Wii U and you don't want it. But I mean, most of the people that we know don't have Wii U's. You know, the people in like our kind of immediate circle. And so I think if those people get Switches at some point, they should totally pick up Mario Kart.
And there may not be more maps than was originally released with Mario Kart. I mean, it's the game, all the DLC.
Right.
I'm of the opinion that 48 tracks is a lot of fucking tracks.
It is, and some of those DLC ones are among the very best in the entire game. So, you know, to get those bundled in and not have to fork over extra money, I think that's a catch.
Sure.
Like the Animal Crossing one, I know changes seasons, which is really cool. It's the only track that does that. I know that the Hyrule Castle one is DLC. And I like that course. I really like the Excite Bike track, and that one was DLC also for the Wii U version. So having all those just right from the get-go, you know, at the same time, it's like, yeah, I understand that it's $60 for a game that's what, at least 2 years old. And, you know,
$47.99 if you buy it on Amazon.
Right, or Gamers Club with Best Buy and stuff. So yeah, you know, you get a bit of a deal, and I think it's worth it. Even at 60, I feel like that's one of those games where you're gonna get your money's worth out of it. I mean, provided you like Mario Kart.
You don't like Mario Kart, you confuse me.
You know, I was never a huge Mario Kart guy. Those games were, you know, I didn't get it when I had a GameCube. I had like Resident Evil and some other stuff. I didn't bother with Mario Kart. But I always thought that they were. Yeah, thanks. I always thought that they were fun. They just never felt like must-haves. But I'm telling you, this version of Mario Kart made me a believer, man. It's got like all of that, all of like the thrills and the speed that I look for in like an arcade racer. You know, it's got all that. So I dig it.
Sure.
And God knows.
Pickles.
God knows nobody's making a new fucking Ridge Racer or Daytona these days, so, you know, this is what we get for arcade racers, you know. Well, at least it's a damn good one.
Hey, yay, Cruising USA.
Yeah, nobody's making those either. You know what, though? I would not be opposed to Nintendo doing another one of those. Like I said a second ago, fucking nobody's making those games anymore. You know? Like, you want to play those games, it's like you go to Kickstarter and you know, you plunk down money on a game that's never coming out, apparently, like 90s Arcade Racer. Or you play, oh shit, the name of it is escaping me right now. Drift something. I can't remember what it's called. But it's out on like iOS and stuff, and I get, you know, I've heard it's pretty decent. I guess it's supposed to be coming.
Is it Go-Go Fuckface Racers?
That's it. That's the name, yeah. Thank you.
Nailed it.
Good job. So, you know, last time we did this, I think I used all my time talking about Zelda for the most part. And I haven't finished that yet, and I'm not going to take too long on it this time. I will just say that that's a damn good game.
It is.
I've got 3 of the Divine Guardians down, or Divine Beasts down. So I'm getting there. I'm getting close to the end here. I have no idea what my hour count is at, but I think it's got to be pretty lengthy because I just kind of, I just kind of go wherever I want to, you know, and I don't let anything really like press me along in any particular direction until I just feel like there's something I can't wait anymore on, and I just got to go see what's over there, kind of thing. Or you know, with the Guardians or the Divine Beasts rather, it was like, hey, I need the, I want the abilities that these things give you. So, but yeah, man, it's a solid ass game, and I do think some. I do think some of
remember how to do things.
What are you doing? Oh, Mario Kart. Sorry. Yes, you're playing Mario, right? Mario Kart. You playing your Mario Racer?
Shoot stuff. Oh, there we go. Figured it out.
I was just gonna say, you know, Zelda's great. I on one hand, totally get giving it like the kind of praise that it got, but at the same time, also strangely also think like, yeah, some of that's hyperbole. You know, you're excited to play a new Zelda, but I get it. I mean, I was pretty thrilled with it, and still am. It's not like I've cooled on it that much, but I have grounded myself a little bit on it, and I can kind of see like some of the seams, or you know, some of the things that I don't love about it, but there's a lot to like there, and I totally think it deserves its success with that amazing attach ratio it's got with the Switch. It's like, I think the last I heard it had sold
105%.
Yeah, they had sold more copies of that than they had
I'm not
Switches.
exaggerating.
That's wild.
My
Makes
brother did
sense.
that. He bought one before he had a Switch.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say that. Like, it makes sense if you just wanna get the game, so you don't have to worry. Like, you know, I could see people thinking, "Well, shit, I can't get the system now, but I don't want the game to be gone when I have the system, so I'll just buy it now and hang on to it," you know. But apparently, they're making a better effort.
He actually got pretty lucky.
I was just gonna say, I've heard that they're making a really strong effort to get stock out there, and it sounds like they've already gone through. What, 2 point... No, that's the NES Classic. I've got my numbers mixed up. They've sold a lot in a short period of time. I want to say it's somewhere between 2 and 3 million Switches are out there, like closer to 3, which is pretty damn good, you know? So, but anyway.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah, man, I mean, like, that's a pretty...
I mean, it's been a month, right? You know?
Yeah,
2 months?
but I mean, like, selling almost 3 million of those in a month? Shit, I mean, selling 1 million of those in a month is a good success. If you can keep up that momentum over the course of a year, you're going to eclipse the Wii U's sales in your first year, just by doing 1 million a month, you know?
Sure.
But anyway, that's all I had to say on Switch and Zelda. I've still just got that game and that game only for the time being. Mario Kart's on my to-do list, absolutely. You know, real quick, I'd be interested in hearing what you have to say about this. A lot of rumors going around about future Switch titles. Apparently Bayonetta 3
First of all, I just want to say, first and foremost, that I just got first place in my first online battle mode. It ran fantastic, and I am the man. Continue.
Good job beating up on those 10-year-olds.
I'm the best.
I won't diminish your victory anymore. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Dude, like my me, who's standing there on top of the world, is wearing a king crown. So, king of the castle.
King of the castle, king of the castle.
Anyway, sorry.
So, yeah, Bayonetta 3 got teased, which, man, I can't tell you how excited I would be for another one of those. And, they announced the, you know, they're finally gonna put out those last amiibos or whatever, and Bayonetta is one of those. So, like, in my dreams, I picture an E3 where they're like, Bayonetta 3 is coming to the Switch, and it's got 1 and 2 bundled in. It's a trilogy package for $60 or whatever. I might just die.
In your dreams, do you buy the amiibo and it comes to life, and then your wife catches you and you're in some big time trouble?
No, in my dreams I get caught, but then, like, it's okay because, you know, there's a new experience to be had and shared as a group.
Yeah. I just got eaten by some... Oh my god. This is different. I got eaten... What are the not the... Oh, holy shit. Somebody opened the cell. Wow. This is different. This battle mode thing is different. This is not normal battle mode.
Oh, cool. You're playing that. Nice.
I just got eaten again. And now I am back in a cell.
I did
not know this was a thing.
Try playing better. Try not getting eaten.
Yes, good plan. Okay, so there's this thing, Bayonetta, and you're excited about it, and you really hope that you're able to get all 3 games in one package for $60, which will never happen, but okay. So, what was the question? It didn't sound like there was a question.
Oh yeah, no, I'm getting to it. The other rumor that I've heard is everybody seems pretty damn certain that there's going to be a reveal for a new Smash Brothers, and it will likely be like Smash Brothers Wii U Deluxe, which I'd be fine with because it's got the best roster of any Smash so far with Ryu and Cloud and Bayonetta and all them in there.
Here we go again.
So the point of bringing up that and Bayonetta 3 is, those are 2 really exciting games that are rumored for the Switch. And I know somebody's out there rolling their eyes right now. Oh, a port and then a collection of a new game with a couple of ports bundled in. Oh, you love your ports. Yeah, Switch is a port machine. There's probably other shit I don't even know about coming, I'm sure, that I will get excited about. But yeah, for me, that's what I dig on. And the question part of this is, what are you hoping to see on the Switch?
Go talk to your mother.
You probably didn't hear me.
I didn't think it was cute when my daughter came and asked me questions. I didn't want the listeners to have to listen to me.
Yeah. Did you tell her your podcast?
So what do I want to? I didn't. But she was outside playing with her friends. So.
Sure. Well, yeah. So
hard
anyway,
information to get out there. What do I want?
Give me like a dream scenario. Like, what are you gonna hope for on the Switch? Because this is it's a platform that's unlike any other that you own in the way that it's like full-fledged console, but also portable. Is there something that you are hoping to see on it that might be something that kind of plays off of that unique ability? Or do you just want traditional stuff and you don't really care about the unique ability?
I do want traditional stuff. I think that traditional stuff will be great because of the unique ability to transport my Switch around.
Sure.
To sit on my couch and have my Switch in my lap and be talking on my Xbox, and not feel like, it's weird just because it's sitting in my lap.
Sure.
It's not like I have my TV on the other screen. I don't know, it's weird. Like there was a while, right, with the PS3 that I would play games on the PS3, but I would be talking to people on my Xbox 360.
Yes, I remember that.
Right, and so I think that the situation right now is very similar with the Switch, where if you want to play a game on the Switch and talk to somebody, you got to be on the PS4 or the Xbox One, right, or the Xbox 360, I guess too.
Yeah.
And I don't honestly, I have no idea how that situation is going to change. I think Major Maxim may be in my game with me.
Oh yeah.
That really looks like his me. I'm gonna have to ask him later if it
throw
was.
him a red shell for me.
But I will do my best. I haven't gotten a single red shell yet in battle mode. But coin runners. There are different battle mode modes now, which is interesting. This one is like on the moon. I don't know if it's on the moon. It's in space. Something. Anyway, but I'm really looking forward to some of the games that are coming out. Like Xenoblade.
Sure.
And I know, this is gonna be in that vein of, oh, it's just another port or whatever. But I would love to have a port of Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Sure.
I think that would be great.
Is that just because you like taking JRPGs kind of on the road sometimes? You like the portability?
Well, as someone who has and really appreciates their Vita,
yeah,
I've actually gotten really used to playing JRPGs on a handheld.
That's where I was going with that.
And so, I mean, I do like it.
Yeah.
Dude, I like, the only thing I don't want to play on my Switch, and I mean in handheld mode, not in general, is are shooters.
Sure.
I just don't really have any interest in playing shooters because I don't like the way my hands sit on the handheld enough to want to shoot shit. Like, I don't think, like, there's enough control for me. And it's not like I'm getting any younger, so my reflexes aren't as fast as they've always been anymore either.
Right.
So, for some of that stuff, I definitely want there to be, I'll play a shooter on the Switch if a good shooter comes out. Like, I'll probably get Splatoon, and I'll enjoy it, but I'll only play it on my TV. But with any kind of JRPG, and I don't care on how advanced of a JRPG it is or not, whether you go to something that's purely handheld to something that's, Final Fantasy 15, right?
Right.
I mean, those are all playable in a portable mode or whatever. And so I don't know. I want that kind of stuff. I want things that I think are really good. And it's hard for me to be like, I played Zelda and I played Mario Kart on my Switch, but now, I'm gonna be only getting
Got him.
or or I'm gonna be happy with fucking Fire Emblem Game Boy mode. You know what I mean? Like, that's not, or DS. I know they're not Game Boys. Like, I don't want the DS version of fucking Fire Emblem. Like, I want a legit version of Fire Emblem that's for consoles.
Sure.
And so that's all I want. I want a 3D, like a legitimate 3D Pokemon game. I'm an adult that really likes Pokemon.
Sure.
I want to collect them all. Like, if you've ever listened to our podcast, you've probably heard me fucking say that. Like, I like the collectible nature of that stuff. I like the different, I like fucking, I just happen to like JRPGs in general. So yeah, like, I would love to see a lot more stuff like that, but, I don't need Call of Duty on my Switch.
Yeah, I'm with that.
I don't think it's bad if the Switch gets Call of Duty. I mean, if they're comfortable in their element or whatever, like, if they don't need that to survive, if they don't need Madden to survive, then that's fine. But obviously, I want as many great games as possible on any console available.
Sure.
I want every game that I ever play to be the best game that I've ever played. I don't. It's funny, like, the NFL draft is going on yesterday, today, and this weekend. And even though I'm only a fan of one football team, I wish all those young men success. I want them all to do great.
Sure.
I don't, unless they're total dirtbags, which that happens occasionally. But and I'm the same way with video games and video game consoles. Like, I don't ever wish for Sony not to have success or Microsoft or Nintendo not to have success. I want them all to be great.
Right.
And so, like, to say, like, me personally, no, I don't need Call of Duty World War II on my Switch. But if that would make it more likely that someone else bought a Switch, then I do hope that it will happen.
Yeah.
So,
no, I hear you. I mean, there will be some people who, Switch might be all they end up buying. Kids or something, and, if that's where they gotta, hope that Call of Duty World War II lands in order for them to play it, that's fine by me if it gets there,
Right.
So, I mean, I hope it does just for that reason. I probably wouldn't buy it on Switch. I just don't, I'm like you in that I don't see myself playing shooters on the Switch, really. Like, there's something about it, I can't put my finger on why, but I don't think I'd want to play, like, Overwatch or Killing Floor 2 or whatever on the Switch, and, shoot, I guess I don't know why. Maybe that's probably based on my experience with Vita shooters, which are pretty few and far between. It's not like it had that many, and honestly, Killzone was fan-fucking-tastic.
I like Unit 13.
Yeah,
Unit 13 was really good.
I don't know what I'm complaining about, really. I guess I just, like, there's a stigma that I can't quite articulate or justify having that makes me not want to have, or not want to play shooters on the Switch, rather. I didn't buy it for that. I've got my other two systems, which are, you know, are for that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, like, I've got,
Only one left.
I've got a PS4 Pro and I've got a 4K TV.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm gonna play a shooter, which is mostly visual feedback, quite frankly, I'm gonna rather play it on that, or then if I buy a Scorpio later in the year, next year, whatever, on that, than my Switch. That's just, that's the nature of those games. It's like, I might go watch one of those stupid Transformers movies in the theater. I personally wouldn't watch any of the Transformers movies because Shia LaBeouf is the worst, and he tarnished that entire franchise. I don't care if Marky Mark is in them or not now. But, you know what I'm talking about, right?
You think it was him? You think he's the problem?
Sweet.
I think Shia LaBeouf ruined Indiana Jones.
No,
That's enough for me.
I think everything ruined Indiana Jones. I think that.
Fuck you, Indiana Jones is the greatest.
No,
Except
that
for
whole
Shia
movie,
LaBeouf.
that whole movie with him in it sucked,
The
and it
Crystal
wasn't
Skull?
his. Yeah, and it wasn't just him
It-
being
it
in it
is
that
his
made it
fault.
suck.
It is his fault.
Oh, okay. I see how we're doing this. I gotcha.
Anyway. So, but, I don't like that guy. I mean, I don't even call him by his name. But, anyway, I don't remember what I was saying. Now I'm just pissed off at fucking Shia LaBeouf.
Awesome.
But, so I was Mistwalker, you know, the studio Mistwalker.
Yeah.
It's, Sakaguchi's studio.
Mhm.
I'm not a Sakaguchi-san kind of guy. That's not. I don't know. I'm not Japanese. I don't know these people. I'm not calling them san or kun or whatever the fuck else.
Right, I gotcha.
But,
Chan.
Right, Chan. But Sakaguchi, pretty famous video game creator, right? I think we
Yeah.
can agree with that.
Yep.
Since he was the director of many of the best Final Fantasy games, and he was the executive producer on Kingdom Hearts, and he made Lost Odyssey, which I think is one of the best video game stories that's ever been made. He also did The Last Story on the Wii, which was a really good game. And I would like to see Mistwalker bring something to the Switch.
Sure.
I think that would be really great. I would like to see... you know, the Wii actually had some Japanese RPGs that were kind of obscure, that people didn't know.
Uh-huh.
That they had, I think, because it was on the Wii.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see stuff like that get brought over. And, I mean, yeah, for me, like, I just want to see, like, really good Japanese games get brought to the Switch to the United States.
Yes.
Fucking,
And
like,
I
there
think
isn't
you're gonna.
anything I want more than Dragon Quest XI.
Armed and ready.
Like, I mean, I love Dragon Quest VIII. I've bought Dragon Quest VIII on the PS2. I bought it on the iPad, and then I bought it here again recently on the 3DS. If they bring it to the Switch, I'll buy it on the Switch.
Sure.
That's how much I like that game. Another game that I bought a fuck ton of times for, just because I really like it, is Bully. I don't know, the Rockstar Games game, where you're the kid in the prep school.
Yep.
I bought that like 3 or 4 times. But again, I'm buying that at $10, not $40 most of the time when I get that, so it's not really the same. But
Yeah.
anyway, but I don't know. Like, I wouldn't mind getting. I mean, Grand Theft Auto. I'd play Grand Theft Auto on the Switch because the shooting's different. You know, it's lock-on shooting.
Sure.
So I mean, I wouldn't preclude myself from playing an open-world game like that. I mean, I think we're transitioning into a time where so many things are becoming open world too.
Sure.
That I'll be interested to see if the Switch can support some of that stuff.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Like, where's the line drawn for power? You know, can it? I guess we're gonna get Skyrim, but how old is that game now?
Rock and roll.
Yeah, this is pretty old.
Yeah.
I mean, I got the remastered or whatever on my PS4.
Uh huh.
And I've got it on the Pro, right? So I mean, like it displays in native Skyrim is native 4K.
Right.
It doesn't look any better than it did on my PC.
Sure.
You know, I mean, 4K is sharper, and I think that's something people don't realize is like when next-gen PlayStation system will launch in 2018, analyst predicts. I hate that story.
I don't.
Oof, I hope that's wrong.
That stuff is annoying. Those analysts never have fucking anything right. There's already analysts. Those same guys are all saying like, "Oh yeah, Switch Mini is gonna come out next year." It's like, no, it won't. They don't know what the hell they're talking about. And Michael Pachter, who's like, arguably like the most, and I don't understand why, but like the most famous analyst, he gets shit wrong all the time. He's more wrong than he is right. He just put out, I don't know what he put out that said this on it or whatever, but there's this quote floating around the later half of this week. Michael Pachter says that the video game industry is going to collapse very shortly. But then at the same time, there's also, Pachter says that Nintendo is going to continue to put out games to support their Switch system. Or just something like that. I think I might have that last one there a little off, but that was like the gist of it. It's like, no shit, they're gonna keep putting out games? Well, damn, Anyway.
You know what's funny?
What?
I brought up Mistwalker and Sakaguchi, and in my I've got a Google Pixel for my phone.
Yeah.
And so I've got a feed from Google that like will give me news that they think I might be interested in.
Sure.
And there is a video of Sakaguchi answering questions from fans.
Well, it knows you well then. It's listening.
It does. Oh, it is definitely listening.
It's George Soros and the
I know
globalists. George Soros and the globalists listening in on what you're talking about with your video games. And okay, I'm done. No more.
Every time I click like on something, I swear to God, I'll click on something on Facebook and then I'll see something about it on my Google feed later.
Oh yeah.
Like that happens every day. Every day. Yeah. It's processing all of the information and figuring it out. Yeah. 100%.
Awesome. Shitty future.
Yeah. I mean,
Hey,
I get it, trying to tailor things I'm interested in that, but it is a little scary.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's keep
also,
this train
Sony
rolling.
made a badass Dragon Quest 11 PS4.
Oh, okay. I'll take
It
your
is
word for it.
badass. It is worth checking out. I will actually post a link to that in our Google Hangout. But it's pretty. Anyway, continue.
Wow.
You want to move on?
Yeah.
Move your
No,
ass.
I want to cover Persona 5 since that came out between our last episode and now. I know we both been playing it and probably got quite a bit to say about it. So let's get to it.
Okay.
Deafening silence.
It's a game.
Yeah.
It's a game with Japanese kids in high school.
Persona 5 is a JRPG. It is the 5th game in the Persona series. Not a lot of people know this, but it's about kids who are attending high school. And, actually, no. So, for real, I like it. I think it's damn good. I don't know that I am gonna love it.
The end music at the end of battles is one of my favorite things ever. Yes. And the way he starts walking and he starts moving faster, he moves it into a run. It's like it's a dance, but all he's doing is running.
Right, yeah,
really
he kind of
amazing.
does that. He does that arm wave like over the shoulder, like, come on everybody, let's get the hell out of here. And then he kind of busts out into his little run. Yeah, I totally am right with you on that. That's super cool, super stylish. And it makes Joker, the main character, it makes him feel cooler than, you know, when he's in that persona or he's in that version of himself, it makes him feel cooler than he is when you're just out and about town and stuff, you know.
Yes.
Little touches like that.
He doesn't get enough respect.
That's for sure.
Funny. I've been replaying The Witcher 3 because I kept talking about how all the RPGs I played this year are The Witcher 3, so I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna play The Witcher 3.
Sure.
And one of the things that really has always stood out to me about The Witcher is when you're going through town and stuff like that, people are always talking shit about you, calling you a freak and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Persona 5 has that too.
In spades at the start, yeah.
Like, not just at the start. Like, I mean, every time you have one of the classroom things and you actually answer a question right, everybody's like, oh, I can't believe he's that smart.
Right,
it's
right.
It's like, you motherfuckers, I'm going to kill you. Oh, wait, this game won't let me do that. But,
Sentry destroyed.
people are so douchey to him. Especially in the start. Like, the start bummed me out. And it was funny, because I said something, and you were like, just give it time. And then sure as shit, when you started playing it, you said the same thing. Like, this sucks. Like, yeah, the beginning sucks. Like, everybody's mean to you. You did a good thing. And, like, everybody's terrible to you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's,
And,
some of that is like, it makes me wonder how much of that can be attributed to the writing not being on par with
0%.
Or how much of it can be attributed to Japanese culture. And
100%.
Yeah, I mean...
No, seriously, I think that is 100% cultural. Like, there are too many opportunities for them to have gotten it right in translation. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I've played enough of the game, and you've played enough of the game now, too, where they talk about that kind of thing. Where there's a lot of, like, lording, like, things people have done over other people's heads.
Yeah.
And, or, like, threatening to destroy people's lives. Shit like that, you know?
Over stupid shit, too.
Right. Because it would somehow, like, lessen their honor, is how it seems to me. That is not the phrasing that they use.
Right. But that's the gist of it.
But I think that has to be culture. Like, I can't imagine that's not culture.
Yeah.
Not to say that there aren't times where there is some awkward translation. But
There's
it's
plenty
good
of that.
for the most part,
I think there is plenty of, like, I mean, it's not like it's totally riddled with it like a Bethesda game is bugs, right? Like it's
right.
It's passable. It's more than passable. But like, I mean, I guess I can't help but compare it to Persona 4 a lot because that's the only other Persona game I've played, right? And I didn't notice it in Persona 4 like I do in this game, so I'll say that. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, you know, like it still hits the mark in terms of like making me take a shine to a lot of the characters and stuff the same way Persona 4 did. So like, while it gets some things kind of lost in translation or whatever, the majority of it shines through, and it's when it comes to the main cast in particular, they're like really easy to like eventually, I think. I've heard people say that they don't like much of the main cast, and I just don't understand that because I haven't even met everybody yet. I'm in July, which if you're not a Persona game player, the games will start in spring and they'll go up until about Christmas time, and then if you do it right, you'll get an ending that takes place, like you'll see New Year's, and then you'll see like Valentine's Day, and that'll be the end. But I'm in July now, so I've been at it for a good little bit here, and I still haven't met all the party characters, all the main people that are on like the box art for the game. And I like the ones I've met a lot. They're all cool. They're all unique. And that's the kind of stuff I like about these games is, you know, when you play a JRPG, you expect to get this like, you know, kind of... Gosh, what's the word I'm looking for here? Your party is kind of like a hodgepodge of various people, right? And you kind of there's a word for that I'm looking for, and it's escaping me right now. But you expect to kind of
motley crew.
There you go, nailed it. Anyway, I was so proud of you for figuring out what I couldn't that now I've forgotten what my original point was. Just, when you play a JRPG, right? Like, so much of it hangs, so much of your opinion of the game hangs on how much you like the people that you're spending all that time with, right? And Persona, at least 4 and what I've played of 5, nailed that for me. So, I'm really digging it. On that alone, it's like the relationship stuff that really sells me on those games.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean that's the whole that's really what it's about. I mean it's not you're not in it for the battles, like
right.
Not that the battles are bad. I think that there's some depth and some complexity to them that make them worth doing and interesting. But the dungeons look like PS2 game, in higher resolution, like
in 4. But yeah, I guess some of them in 5.
Dude, like in 5 they just don't look great, which is weird because the characters look nice. The cutscenes on my fucking TV, the color fucking pops. It's beautiful. And the game has like neat effects and stuff that are nice and like, that stuff's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't look like a game that's just PS4, it looks like a game that was designed for the PS3.
Yeah, it's got so much style that I think it does a good job of making you forget that. Well,
and part of it too is like the menus look so much, and not layovers,
like bumpers.
What are
and
the
stuff.
things that go? The things that there's a now I'm looking for a specific word. There are things that go like when you finish a battle.
Yep.
And it shows the XP, and it shows that stuff.
Yeah, I call that bumper stuff. Because it's like your transition. It's like your transition from one scene to the next. It's really quick stuff. It's
No, that's not what I mean.
Oh,
I mean
okay.
like the actual thing that is laid on top of like the picture. You know what I mean? Like if it wasn't there, you would just see the game. But it is like menu type stuff. It's like a frame, whatever, right? And it says EXP 703 or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That stuff looks so sharp and so crisp and so colorful that instead of it being like in stark contrast to what the rest of the game looks like, it just looks really cool.
Sure.
And that's kind of what you're talking about, like but it also looks really pretty because it's so sharp. And so, like, I think sometimes you can play, and then, like, you can see the city, and you can be like, oh, yeah, that doesn't actually look that good. And then, like, they amp the music up, and they put the bright colors from they're like, fuck, I cannot fucking think what I'm talking about. But they throw that other stuff on the screen, and then it's like, oh, yeah, that's so nice looking, it's so cool.
Yeah, it's super vibrant, super crisp. Everything kind of pops off the screen. And you don't have to have, like, that's one thing to keep in mind. You don't have to have every game look like Witcher 3 or whatever, right? Like, this is its own style. It's got that anime flavor, so that can only look so good, I think. And a lot of that is dependent on the style of the art.
No, that's not... Well, yeah, except that's not really accurate. In my content, like in what I'm talking about, like, because let's say you do, like, there's a thing you can do in the game where, like, let's say you use you're in battle and you use something that attacks each enemy's weakness, but you don't kill all the enemies go down, and then you can do this thing where you basically pile on them and everybody gets to attack at once.
Yes, the group attack.
And then afterwards, there's like, assuming you kill them all, which generally you do, there's like this splash screen that happens. And it's kind of like a comic rendition of whichever character attacked last.
Yes, yeah,
And
you get the.
that.
It's like a victory pose kind of thing, but like a slightly
It's
longer
like a
animation.
Comic book, it's like a comic book panel, though. That
Right.
splashes up on the screen.
Well, there's a little bit of an
And it's-
animation, and then it freezes, and that's your panel.
Right. And that is gorgeous. And
Yeah.
because that is what I'm like. That's all the high resolution. It's all the sharp colors. It's all the designed for PS4, not for PS3. Like
Right.
it's different to me. Like it actually looks like that was designed for the PS4, while the other one was designed for the while the actual just gameplay was designed for the PS3.
Sure.
And I don't think that that's necessarily art, because the colors actually are a little bit duller. Like stuff doesn't necessarily look as sharp. The textures aren't as textury as PS4 stuff,
Yeah,
That's what I mean.
I read you.
So, but it still looks good. I mean, it's not like it's terrible looking or something. It's absolutely playable.
I think it's actually really gorgeous. I like looking at it. I think it's just really vibrant, really colorful. It just has a certain life about it, and I think it's really great. I'm actually kind of tempted to buy it on PS3 also. One, because I like the game so much, but two, just to see if there's any discernible difference. I'm sure Digital Foundry or somebody has probably torn that apart by now.
You've got a lot of games to be spending that money on a game you already own.
I know.
That's all I'm saying.
Plus, I bought the Goober edition of this already on the PS4.
Me too.
Which
is great. It's one
a
of
nice
the best
package.
special editions of a game I've ever bought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Worth every penny.
One thing I want to talk about with Persona 5 real quick, and I never got to talk about Persona 4 on our podcast because we really weren't podcasting when I played it. So this what I'm about to say kind of goes for both games. I really enjoy the relationship aspect of these games, and I can't really compare it to anything else I've played. There's dating, sort of, in Fallout, where you get your companion.
Mass Effect.
Yeah, I'm getting there.
Dragon Age.
I'm getting there. Fallout, for example, you kind of get your companion, and they follow you around, and yeah, you can have some dialogue and stuff, or Skyrim, you can have your little wedding ceremony and all that, right? But all of it kind of feels a little bare bones, a little empty.
Flaps.
You know what I'm saying, though, right? There's just not a lot to it. And Mass Effect and other BioWare games definitely are in a league of their own as far as that kind of stuff is concerned, I think. Granted, it's...
No.
I think so. I haven't played Witcher yet,
It's
so
because you're not smart.
I get to look forward to that yet. But I've always really enjoyed the BioWare games for that stuff. But I also go to those for the sci-fi story and the ensemble cast and all that stuff. And I guess I could say the same thing about these Persona games. I like the cast, and I like the lifestyle, playing where you kind of, you're living the life of a pluckish rogue high schooler who gets to do whatever the hell he wants at night and doesn't really have much of a curfew or much adult oversight, right? And so you're kind of doing all that cool stuff. But in my super roundabout way of getting to my point here, I really like finding some romance to play around with, and taking your girlfriend to a movie, or taking her to the diner and just chatting and having coffee and stuff like that, right? Doing whatever it is that you're gonna do, and they have the special cool holiday events and things like that, where you'll have a little bit of extra dialogue here and there, depending on your relationship status. And I know that that's not the deepest stuff either, but I feel like it's a step above a lot of other games, and most games don't even attempt it. And I feel like the whole, I guess dating in general is just really underserved in gaming, right? We have so much emphasis placed on making shooters, making action games and things like that. We got action games all the live long day. But the number of games I can come up with where you actually have a well-written, and that's the important part here, right? And that's what sets apart the few games that do it, puts some over the top, is it's got to be well written and it's got to be, handled in a mature, respectful way. And those are just like too few and far between. And while I'm not exactly like slamming flaps, as you put it, in Persona 4, in Persona 4 or Persona 5, the same way that you are in like Dragon Age, where you straight up have like tits in your face and stuff like that, right? Or like some nice blue alien ass in Mass Effect or whatever, right? Persona doesn't really do that stuff, which is fine. There's no softcore nudity or whatever. I still really dig on the social aspect of it, and I wish more games did it, because I think that that's definitely something that makes these games special. And I think it's dismissed by a lot of people, like, oh, play a dating game? Oh, what? 'Cause you know. I think it's all too easy to make the joke about like the nerd who can't get laid and needs his dating game or whatever.
I think that maybe you should take your wife out to dinner sometime soon. Okay, so, first of all, there are two female characters in video games
Got him.
who, for those of you who listen to the show who don't know, it sometimes gets a little odd because Andrew and my wife have the same name. It's not the same person, two different Danielles. But I tell my wife Danielle, I say, like, this person is my Danielle. And I mean, like, Tali Zora Voss Normandy is my Danielle of the Mass Effect universe.
Right.
Like,
right.
she has a very special place in my heart, this character does. And it's weird, and I think my wife is like, you're such a fucking nerd, when I say that stuff to her.
Mm-hmm.
But the other one is Triss Marigold in The Witcher.
Yeah.
And they're loving and respectful of the character, and they treat them well. And
Yeah.
that is, that's how I feel about my relationship with my wife.
Sure.
And so, like, they have a special place in my heart, and I think it's neat because we don't have
Wire repair.
a lot of games that do stuff like that.
Right. As I was saying,
And
it's very few and far
right.
between.
But I just played through all the Mass Effect games again, except for 3. And I played and I beat Mass Effect Andromeda. And I would tell you that I was more interested in the relationship with the person that I chose to have the relationship with in Persona 5. And there was more depth and, like, interesting
Sentries up.
stuff
Developments.
to it. I mean, I don't know. There's more development to it than I felt like there was in Mass Effect.
Sure.
Like, because the thing that eventually happens in Mass Effect, there's 10 legitimate conversations that you're gonna have with every character who is a confidant in Persona 5.
Right.
10 meaningful things will happen.
Right, and those are
And it doesn't.
those are just the ones where you rank up. Like, there's a lot of in-between ones where you can actually, you might not be ranking up, but they still might have something worth your time.
Right. And so that brings that count up, and especially with the people who you may or may not choose to romance.
Right.
That brings that count up, I would say, to 15. And it's something different, and even though the ones that aren't rank ups are shorter, there's usually still something that'll make you feel good about it.
Right. Totally.
Mass Effect's got 5, for characters. Dragon
Sure.
Age has 5. Like,
Sure.
real meaningful conversations or something.
Right.
And so, like, when you were like, oh, it's the top, like you could make the argument that some of that stuff is written, really well, and it'll make you have the same kind of feeling and stuff. But I think that Persona actually explores those things more.
Only 2 left.
And of course, I love having a blue ass shit shaking in my face and all that good stuff.
Right.
Like the character that I chose to romance in Persona 5, the way that it finished, I was pretty stoked about. You know?
Yeah.
And it was forbidden. It was a forbidden romance, and I felt that a little bit. You know, I felt her hesitation, being an older woman with a high school boy.
Sure.
You know, I got it. And honestly, like because I finished Anne, or On, they call her On, but Anne.
Yeah. Yep.
She's like the one that they're steering you towards in the beginning, right?
Yeah, most certainly. I think.
And she's the confidant of the lover's persona, you know, for that too.
Right.
It was really that there's a thing at the end, like of her thing, and this isn't a big spoiler, but where you choose to romance her or not, and you can either say you have me or you have them, as in our friends. But it should have been us. That was bad translation of it. It should have been us.
Sure.
Because if you say us, then you're saying you still have me, but as a friend. But
Right.
it's either you have me or you have them. And I was like, God, I hated doing that to her. You
That's
know?
stone
'Cause I
cold,
liked
yeah.
her. Right, yeah. I did not like that at all. And I think that might have been a translation thing.
Yeah,
Or
but
maybe
I mean,
you
there's
just
still,
needed to be really clear.
there's still something to be said for your headcanon, right? Which is like the way that you're interpreting it and kind of remembering the scene in your mind. And while that may not have been their intention, like that's the way that you remembered it. You were stone cold about
Right.
it. You're, you know. So yeah.
Right. And we were close. Like, we were definitely good friends at the least.
Right. Yeah, I'm glad you talked about your.
yeah,
I'm glad you talked about your romance and said that it was forbidden. I would like to talk briefly, and I will try super hard to be spoiler-free here. I've not completed any of the social links yet. I think the farthest ones I'm on are two of the older women. I have both at like 7 right now, so things are just starting to like kind of really ramp up in terms of like the romance is blooming, right? Because you spend a long time just kind of getting to know a lot of these characters, but there's one in particular, and it's not the one that you chose. I don't think.
No, I know who. It's
If you,
the maid.
yeah, yes, we'll call her Becky.
That's a spoiler-free. That's a spoiler-free way to do it.
Yeah, you can call her Becky too, and nobody's gonna know who you're talking about until they get to that point. But
Right.
there is something so interesting about that to me, the relationship
Me
that
too.
your high school character has with a grown-ass woman who is living this kind of really interesting life, and in society she is your superior, right? Like she's not old enough to literally be your parent, but like, you know, she could be your legal guardian, more or less, right? If she knew your family or something and something happened to your family, right? Like, and I can't really talk too in depth about it without spoiling things, but it's just been super intriguing to me. And honestly, like when I fire up the game,
How many into it are you?
I'm like 7 into
Like,
it.
So you
Out of 10
had,
for listeners who
right.
don't
So
know.
you had the thing where she tries to pull one over on you,
Yep.
and then she really lets you know what's going on.
Yeah, we had our kind of breakthrough, and now we're kind of maintaining
because that is another example of like where I think it's a Japanese culture thing. Like
Do you
the
want to elaborate?
guilt.
Sure. No, you hit it with the guilt. I know what you mean. Hopefully
Right. There's this guilt thing that happens to this grown woman, to where she is working a second job to basically pay off this family, and it's crazy. Like the whole idea is crazy that anybody would do that to me.
Right.
It's basically like getting hit with a loss. Like it's like OJ's family coming after OJ because he didn't
Sure.
get convicted of murder, right? Like,
Right.
Except it's not. Like it's nothing like that at all.
Right. There's
They're
nothing
basically
legally
blackmailing
binding.
the money out of her.
Right. there's nothing
Man,
legally
it's-
binding or anything. It's just like an honor and shame kind of thing that I don't particularly understand. You know?
Right. I mean, I get feeling like you did somebody wrong and then doing something
Now I'm fired up.
Right.
for the or having to give some kind of restitution to the person.
Right.
I do not. But I was actually having a conversation about this the other day. Like, I understand. You know, if you do something that hurts somebody and then you having to pay to make them better, right? Or to support them if they can't support themselves anymore or whatever. Like, I get that.
Right.
I do not get paying somebody's parents though. Like,
Right.
that's weird to me.
Right.
Unless the parents have incurred some cost because of it all, you know. But like, it was actually because you know who Aaron Hernandez is. I know you're not a football guy, but is the football player that got arrested for murder.
Oh, okay, yep.
Armed and ready.
Okay, so he killed himself.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
there is some
was just recent.
supposition that and there's some supposition that perhaps he killed himself so that his money would go to his daughter, not to the parents of the person that he killed. And
Here we go
I
again.
don't think that the parents of the person he killed should have got his money anyway. Personally, like, I think it still should go to his daughter. Like, he earned that money, and the fact that he killed somebody else's child doesn't. I mean, the guy was a grown-ass man, you know, too, on top of that. And,
Sure.
like, that money's not going to bring their son back. I know, like, we're talking about video games. But
Yeah,
anyway,
let's not
I
get
just-
super
I don't
bogged
know.
down in
Focus
that.
fire on the shield.
Right, no, right. But I mean, like, it was just one of those things where I was like, oh, that seems odd to me. And of course, you know, OJ is as famous a case of that as it gets.
Right.
But I just thought that was silly. And then I saw it in Persona, right? Basically, a similar situation. And then, again, like, not quite the same, but there's some similarities to it.
Right.
And I just thought, weird. That is really weird that, like, she's working a second job to pay this family because she feels guilty.
Right.
And nobody's forcing her to do it. I guess that makes us terrible, right? You have to be forced to do the right thing. I just don't think it's the right thing. I
Yeah.
think she did the right thing in the first place.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it's interesting, you know, just to kind of double back around on that. I don't want to talk too in depth about it just because I know that we'll probably have friends who, you know, we definitely have friends who are playing Persona and might listen to the show, and I don't want to ruin anything for anybody. But I've never experienced anything quite like that. Like this interesting, like, shifting power dynamic between this particular character and the main character. It's just so fascinating to me. Like, it's interesting, and I'm like kind of thinking, like, this. Honestly, the social link developments with her are kind of what got me thinking so much about, like, why the hell aren't there more dating games? You know what I mean? Because, like, it's such an untapped area. There's so many interesting stories that you could tell in that space, and this kind of opened my eyes to it. Like, yeah, look at what we've been missing out on. You know, like. Blue asses and tits in your face are great, and I really like those characters in the BioWare games, but, like, there should be more stuff like this, you know? Like, I'd take a whole game based around the Becky arc, you know?
yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. I like some more in-depth, complex gameplay. But I do think that stuff definitely needs to be implemented more in story-driven games, and I don't understand why it's
Got
not.
30 seconds
Yeah.
to regroup.
I would be perfectly okay with seeing, like, a Persona game with combat completely removed, right? It doesn't have to be a Persona game, because I guess at that point it's not, once you take that out, because it's so integral to the experience. But, like, I'm just saying, like, there's room in the market for a game that is just, you know, I guess you could argue that's what kind of what
I mean, that
visual
stuff
novels
exists.
are, right? But it's just so few and far between.
I mean, I haven't played a lot of visual novels, so I don't know how the development between the characters and stuff in those are.
It's pretty static for the
Yeah.
most part, at least in what I've seen. You know, I haven't played all of them or anything like that, obviously, and really my experience has been limited to what's been available on Vita. But there's not a lot of like decision making. I don't think, at least not in what I've seen. Maybe someone will tell me you gotta try this thing, but certainly not.
Trying that thing.
Yeah, I mean certainly not in something that's
How it's done.
you know, had any kind of like relationship aspect. You're not faced with like the options that you have in like a Persona or BioWare game, you know, where you've got like, oh, there's like 6 different girls I could see about dating here, and each of them could go these different ways, you know. So, but anyway, I didn't mean to take up so much time, but it's just kind of like it is part of what makes the experience unique and special and noteworthy, I think, in those games, at least for me.
Have you started talking to the politician?
Only we're just starting to, not super much.
So I finished that, and that was good. Really solid.
Yeah?
The whole way through. Yeah.
He's a confidant, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you talked to the journalist?
Oh yeah, the journalist is great. I adore her.
She doesn't do it for me.
Oh really?
She needs to get her act together. She needs to get her act together.
I kind of adore that these characters are so flawed, though. That's another thing too that
Did
I
you
like.
see the thing where you're out and her boss runs into you? Have you gotten to that?
Yeah, we've been down that road.
That was incredibly amusing to me.
Yeah.
That did it. Like that was I had the ha-has for that.
Yeah.
Danielle, do you want to go to the place on 6th Street? Because okay, so when me and Andrew are done with our podcast, we will go get a drink and we will get some food there. Does that sound okay?
Pretty shortly here, by the way.
All right.
I think we're about to wrap this baby up soon.
But there's one more thing that I want to talk about, not Persona related.
Yeah, I was gonna throw that out there. Do you have anything else on Persona before we cap that one?
I do.
And then move on. Okay.
I do. I just, if for you, like specifically, have you gotten to the point where you've finished on storyline?
No, I only have her at like 7 also.
Okay. I would slow your roll on like choosing her to be your love interest. There's
I've already
probably
decided not to.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm all Becky.
I would hold on that too, because I think that there's gonna be at least one more interesting one you're gonna meet.
Yeah, I know
at least
that
one
there's...
more.
Yeah, I know, and all this stuff is fluid, right? So, like, while I'm saying this now,
Right.
I said on when I was like an hour into the game. I was like, oh, dude.
Right.
You know? So, yeah.
Oh,
we'll
dude, but
see.
it'll kill you saying no to her.
I'm sure it will,
It'll
yeah.
kill you saying no to her.
I really like her. She's kind of an airhead, but I really like her heart. You know, like the core of that person is really cool.
Have you taken the school trip yet? To a different country?
Oh, no. We haven't done that, no.
Okay.
I'm only in
So,
July.
'cause,
Remember July, okay? We're at like the tail end of
I
July.
think it happens in August.
Okay.
I think it happens in August. I thought it might have happened in July. That's why I was asking.
If this puts it into perspective for you any better, like I just recently met a main character's daughter.
Oh, that wears headphones and glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I gotcha. Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, yeah. I mean, so have you met the chess girl? It's not chess, it's...
No, I've heard people talking about her, but I haven't sought her out yet to meet her, but that's on my to-do list. Her and the fortune teller needs $100,000, so I'm gonna make my way back over to her.
Yeah. I haven't gotten very far through the fortune teller storyline.
Uh-huh.
I'm in September, I think. I think the game ends in December from a gameplay perspective.
Uh-huh.
And so, like, I don't know if I'm even going to be able to get through everything with her.
Sure.
But she's interesting. She pisses me off a little bit, but she's interesting. I also hate the cat.
Yeah, and I know why. I actually really like the cat. It's not his fault.
You don't know why exactly. You don't know why. No, he does something stupid later
okay.
that I didn't like.
Well, let's not talk
so there's
about
a personality. No, I won't. There's a personality flaw that he has that I don't like. Also, the fact that he's the one always telling me to go to bed makes me not like him. And that is a really strong part of it, because I feel like he's personally responsible for me not being able to do more stuff. Although, if you max out Becky's thing,
Yeah.
you can go out after you go to
Fortification repair.
whatever it's called, fight.
Oh, after you're in like the metaverse, you can still go out.
Right. After you're in a metaverse, if you have her maxed out, then you can go. You get, it's like a massage. Like she'll give you a massage or something. You can go out.
That's awesome.
I read that. I think that's good. I haven't finished her thing either. But anyway, so one more thing I want to talk about, not Persona.
Yeah. Okay.
I have recently been wanting to play a first-person shooter. I haven't played a single-player first-person shooter in quite a while. I know that Titanfall 2 is supposed to be good, and I own Titanfall 2. I just don't really have any interest in it. And I play Titanfall 2 for the multiplayer.
Man, you are gonna miss the fuck out if you do not play the campaign for Titanfall 2. I'm telling you.
I'm sure, and maybe I will get down to it and do it.
I'm telling you, you're gonna want. It's memorable, and like, you're not gonna play another FPS that does the stuff that Titanfall does in the campaign. I'm not just talking about like, oh, you know, this is a pretty good scene where the plane spins around and you're in it while it happens. Like, no, dude. Really cool mechanical stuff that they're doing in that game. You gotta check it out.
Prepare for Titan. Yeah, well,
You deserve
I will. Hopefully. I didn't get Doom when Doom came out because it didn't have online co-op.
Okay.
And one of my favorite gaming memories is playing through Doom 3 with you.
Mm-hmm.
And I just had a lot of fun doing it. I thought it was a really good time. And so I didn't buy that. And so every time I see it go on sale for $30, I think about buying it.
You could have bought it for like 15 from GameFly a couple of times now.
You say that you said that, but I don't ever remember you saying that. Anyway, because 15, I mean, that's kind of hard to pass up. Although I don't have a GameFly account.
Oh, okay.
But
I actually don't either. I mean, I have the account, but I'm just not subbed in, you know?
Right. Yeah, same. But Prey demo dropped the other day. And I like the first Prey. This one looks very different. But I've seen videos and stuff for it, you know, since it's been in development, and it's looked interesting to me. And they call it the first hour demo, but it's not like you play for an hour and the time cuts off.
Mm-hmm.
There's kind of this introduction sequence, and then an area that it lets you run around in.
Sure.
And it really reminds me of a few different games. Like, I kind of kept getting the vibes from these games as I was playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Half-Life, Dead Space, Bioshock, and Deus Ex are the games that it
really
reminds
good
me
games. All really good games to
They are
remind somebody of.
among some of the best games ever made, right? I mean, they're some of the best franchises I think that you can get into. And it's different parts, like the the Half-Life thing may just be because you start out the game, your first weapon is a wrench. You know, like that could be it.
Sure.
But there is kind of like this oppressive feeling that reminds me a bit of Half-Life 2.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of a tone that gets set. And then like Dead Space, they actually use this like 80s sci-fi thriller Blade Runner type of music to really set this tone that keeps you on edge that reminds me of Dead Space, because it's that sci-fi like fear. Like it's not just it's not Resident Evil. Like, it doesn't feel the same.
Sure.
It's not Condemned. It has that sci-fi like feeling to it, and like that and it's got that not keyboard. There's like a specific kind of like electronica,
Like synth.
that it makes synth. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, it's got like that synth sound and like, and I don't know, like the music really gets me.
Sure.
Because when the music's going, it's like all my hair standing on end. And then when the music stops, I'm scared for when it's going to start again.
Sure.
And then the way you kind of level up and stuff like that, it reminds me of Deus Ex, because it's kind of like, how much are you going to change yourself to be able to overcome whatever this thing that's happening is. And then the Bioshock is actually just kind of the environment, even though it's in the future. And there's a lot of like super high-tech looking stuff. They're just some of the things that kind of remind me of Bioshock. And again, Bioshock is kind of a Deus Ex style game anyway, or like Dishonored even, because it's the guys who made Dishonored, right? So I mean, there's some of that like feel and stuff to it too. But whether you want to buy the game or not, and I don't know how good the game is going to turn out to be, but after playing the demo, I pre-ordered the game on Amazon to just kind of give you an idea, because I didn't plan on buying it.
Sure.
But I played the demo and I pre-ordered the game because it's cool. And like there's a visual effect that happens with two different things very early on in the demo. That I would tell you, one of them is, for me personally, one of the coolest things I've ever seen in a video game.
All right on. High praise.
And it's not like, the freaking, like some huge building collapsing or something like that. It's just an effect.
Sure.
But just like the perspective, like when you look at it and when you see it, and when you see the juxtaposition of the two things on top of each other, and when you realize what's been going on, it's really neat. And there's another thing that is, you basically break something, and you're seeing two effects of this thing being broken, and where it's 2D, but it looks 3D and has depth. I mean, it's just neat, and it's like, it's worth downloading the demo to see.
Sure.
And it's funny because the demo, there's actually a lot to it. I played for an hour and a half, and it's the first hour demo, and I got killed, and I hadn't even explored, I would tell you, half of this beginning area that you can explore.
Sure.
And, I don't know. It's neat. I would suggest that people check it out. There's some cool stuff in there. The story, like I had a friend who was also playing it, and we were talking about it, and so I was like, well, did you realize this, and this? And it was like, no, he didn't realize those things because he hadn't read the emails that I had read, and it was like a pretty significant part of the story, where like, you kind of have an idea of why what's going on is going on, and he had no idea, and I was much more informed because I took the time to read the emails you could find on the computers that were around and stuff like that. I don't know. It's something neat. It's something worth checking out.
Right on. Cool. Yeah, I'll look into it for sure. I've heard a lot of good impressions online amongst yours where people are just, pretty intrigued and kind of want to see what comes after the demo. So I've got plans to download the demo hopefully this weekend here, check it out, and see what, see what's going on with Prey.
One final thing, it'll be the last thing I got.
Okay.
I had no interest in the first Injustice game.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Because it was Mortal Kombat with superheroes and you couldn't use fatalities. And I thought that was dumb. Like, I want to rip Superman's spine out. I mean, that's cool. I mean, you don't get to see that kind of crap happen to Superman,
Right.
Every time they have shown something new for a new character in Injustice 2, I have wanted that game more. I love the way it looks. I love the different movesets. I love how the characters look. I love how they have characters that me personally would think would be a little obscure to have in a fighting game.
Sure.
Based on the DC universe. But I think I'm gonna get it.
You know,
And,
I've
I had no intention of getting it.
I will say that I saw the reveal of the Joker, and I really like the design that they came up with for the Joker this time. I feel like we've seen so many takes on the Joker, and they're all of a certain style and flavor, right? And this one just kind of feels like it's got a little bit of an edge to it that most of them don't, and I like it. I think it's cool. I'm kind of interested to see.
The Poison Ivy one is the one that really sold me on the game.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that's a cool one.
I thought the Brainiacs was really good. I mean, Brainiac is such a cheesy-ass name. But,
so is Cyborg.
But what he does is cool, you know? And I just watched a video that IGN, like, piled together, which had, like, 30 of the characters' special moves or whatever. And I was watching, I was like, no, yeah, man, I can get behind this.
Yeah.
Because all of the effects are so cool for the moves. And they're not like the finishers, because I think there are like finishers too, you know? But they're like their mega combo moves or whatever, you know? Like with the bar you've got to charge up, however the fuck that works in those games.
Right.
But you know, like when Ryu's got the freaking Hadouken that takes up the entire screen.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yep.
But, and also, I think that game looks a million times better than Marvel vs. Capcom looks. I saw Marvel vs. Capcom, and it made me Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
People are digging that, and it just gave me the eye rolls.
Oh, I'm totally digging it. I wanted to follow up. I wanted to cap the show with that since you brought up Injustice.
Gave me the eye rolls. Much more interested in Tekken 7.
Oh yeah, man. Tekken 7 is gonna be fucking off the chain, man. It's gonna be awesome. I'm excited for it. They're gonna have a full-blown story mode this time with like different kinds of gameplay sequences. Like I've heard that there's a third-person shooter in there at some point, as well as some other nice surprises. Yeah, man, I'm excited, and it looks like it's going to span the history.
It's gonna have 50 characters because that's what Tekken does, which is why I like Tekken more than all the other freaking fighting games that come out.
It's gonna be exciting.
I don't even like Tekken's fighting the best, but I like the fact that they give you all of their characters, because why the fuck wouldn't they?
Yeah, they do bring back a lot of them for most of the time.
Right.
The last thing I'll just say about Tekken is I'm excited about the story mode because it's going to span the entire length of the Mishima story arc that they've been going on since Game 1, like, 25 years ago. So it's cool, like they've been showing screen captures of a scene where Heihachi, you play as Heihachi and you fight Child Kazuya. And you beat the shit out of him, and then you have a QTE where you throw him into the volcano. And I was like, oh man, they're doing this shit right. I gotta get in.
You're gonna get another Tekken tattoo after this,
right? Yeah, I'm all about it. The last thing I'll just say quick about Marvel Capcom, since you brought that up, and I just wanted to hit this real fast. They're finally putting a story mode in it, which I'm excited about. I'm a single-player fighting game character, fighting game player, right? Like, I play mostly solo, and I don't mess around online, because honestly, I don't have the time to stay competitive, and people are too fucking good, man. Everything, games are so much bigger than they used to be, 17 years ago, or whenever it was that I was trying to play Marvel Capcom 2 competitively, always looking for a fight and stuff. Like, it's a different world.
Plus, you're old and your reflexes are slow.
Yeah, and there's that too. I still feel like I've got a decent amount of muscle memory, but yes, let's be real about it. But the story mode, right? Like, going back to the first Marvel vs. Capcom game, right? Like, I thought the idea of Ryu shaking hands with Captain America was super cool. And you only really got that in, like, you know, little art depictions between fights or whatever, or in the instruction manual or something like that, right? And Marvel Capcom 2 that had that great ending where everybody in the entire game is gathered on Ruby Heart's airship, and, you know, you've got, like, Spider-Man taking a photo with Sakura.
Just so dumb.
It's awesome. It's cool. Like they're all
So
meeting.
dumb.
It's super sweet, dude.
Worst game ever.
I'm excited for a story mode
Why
where you actually.
guys like that? Ben fucking loves Marvel vs. Capcom, and it's just like, why?
Because it's hella fun, dude, and you've got like this meeting of the fucking
So
ultimate
not.
universes, dude. It's super cool.
If it was Marvel vs. DC, that would be cool.
I would,
Reloading.
yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I
I guess
get
a lot of people
that.
would like to see that, but dude, come on, man. You telling me that a tag team of Ryu and Captain America doesn't seem cool to you?
Sentry repair.
Wow, you sir are
Sentry
I
reloaded.
just don't.
worse than Hitler.
Sentry is up.
Wow, me and Donald Trump.
No, you know, I'm just stoked. I want to see them do the story mode right, and we got a little bit of that in the teaser video for it.
There's
where
only
at
gonna
the-
be 4 characters because it's made by Capcom.
Yeah, I mean, there's certainly room.
The online's not gonna work.
There's certainly reason to pause on a day one purchase after seeing how Street Fighter V turned out. Absolutely. But can I just finish my goddamn thought here about the story? I liked the trailer ending with Rocket Raccoon patting Mega Man on the Mega Blaster and saying, "What's the biggest thing you ever put down with that bad boy?" And then Mega Man kind of like rolling his eyes at him, like, dude, that I got a chuckle out of that, man. Like that kind of shit, I'll eat it up, man. Give me scenes where, you know, the heroes from both sides are interacting, and I'm gonna love it.
I don't like where the art style went with Street Fighter V. I don't know why. It's just like, it's too, like, ridiculous? Cartoony to me? Like, you know, like, fucking Ryu and Ken are so jacked, and it's like, that's not how I remember that being in Street Fighter 2, right? Like, they weren't that big of guys.
They weren't,
And-
yeah, they weren't as beefy, that's for sure. But they were always
Right.
pretty. They were pretty fucking
Now they look like they're
yoked,
wearing
dude.
Gears of War armor.
Yeah, they're a little big now.
And I saw like how fucking cartoony it looked, and I was just like, why? Why am I watching this?
I hear you.
Like I said, like I hope it's great. I hope it's the best thing ever. I hope that the online works. I have my doubts.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see.
Street
you know.
Fighter V didn't work in beta, didn't work when it launched. So,
Yeah, it had a rough start.
we'll see.
It had a rough start for certain. Yeah, hopefully Capcom learned from the experience and they get it right with Marvel Capcom Infinite here. So,
Hopefully.
do you have to pick up that phone while you're podcasting?
I don't. My wife's
Excellent.
dead, apparently.
Excellent. Why don't we shut this baby down, because we're a little bit past an hour here, and I got places to be, and I know you got dinners to eat, so why don't we call it an episode for now?
Alright, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thank you for meeting me on such short notice here. I literally called Nick, and I was like, hey, what are you doing right now? Can you podcast? And being the trooper that he is.
Literally pulling into my driveway.
Yeah. So I appreciate it, man, and thanks to everybody for listening. I guess we'll catch you next time.
Later.